Hey everyone, it's your girl Jelly. I just saw one battle after another because the Oscars got announced, the nominations. And you finally watched this movie that everyone is talking so much about. There's so much discourse, and I'm so fucking tired of discourse, by the way, but there's so much discourse around this film, and so I went into it having heard all of this and feeling nervous. But I'm never someone to take everyone else's word for it. I have to go experience it for myself and develop my own opinion. So that's what I did, watching one battle after another. And I think a lot of the discourse is people being a little dramatic. I think it's a lot of people who do not touch grass getting upset. And I will get into the capital D discourse, but I want to do that at the end of this video. And the reason why I want to do it at the end of this video is because first I want to talk about what is so much more, and he wants to talk about it too, what is so much more important in this film, what is the heart of this film, what is the most important character in this film, in my opinion, is Benicio del Toro's character, who is affectionately known as Sensei in the film. The character's name is Sergio St. Carlos. I really see him as the heart of the film, and I think because people are getting so upset about other characters and other things happening in the film, that they're missing this like really golden heart of it. And I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what I think is the best part of this film. Hey y'all, post-production Nace here. Someone else made my video, but that is okay. I'm putting it up on the screen here. Midnight Showing has done a video also emphasizing the importance of the character Sensei. So we do go over some of the same points, but ultimately both their videos are very different. So I'm going to link their video in the description below. Please check theirs out. It's a fantastic video. But I'm really, really happy that someone else feels similarly that how I do. Okay, back to the video. This film was sold to me thematically when we got to see Sensei in his element. So we see a number of things from him, and for me they were all just so impactful, right? We see first in the beginning of the film this like revolutionary action that is big and flashy and well organized. I like that, but not super accessible to all of us, and I think it makes for great cinema. But then we get to Sensei, who is a fucking pillar of this community, right? So the military comes in, Lockjaw and his fucking goons come down to the city, protests are happening. What does Sensei do? He gets the call. Calm, cool, collected. He gets his shit together. He's like, I'm coming. Pat, let's fucking go. He leaves the dojo. Is that a dojo? I don't even know. Whatever. He leaves the martial arts facility and gets in his car and immediately starts organizing. And I shouldn't even say starts organizing, because it is so clear from everything that's happening around him that they were prepared ahead of time. This is not Sensei going, okay guys, let's figure it out. No, there's a protocol here. Everyone knew exactly where to go. He gets home, he tells his wife, all right, put this kid in front of the store. Okay, we need to get the families out back. We need to get them single file line. Everyone knows what to do. No one is panicking. He is involved in this community. The skateboarders know to go to him and say, what are we doing? You're doing this, this, and this. They're out. Quick. And I love the inclusion of the skateboarders because I think that highlights the involvement of youth as well, right? So we have this older man who is organizing, but he's in touch with his community, and I think that is where older people falter sometimes, where they don't want to get kids involved. You know, they're like, oh, the kids, they don't know. He was smart to get them involved, right? His ass cannot go jumping over roofs, and we even saw that with Pat having to follow the skateboarders, right? They're jumping off roofs, they're going down the fire escapes, they're skateboarding through the streets. What makes those skateboarders so useful is their mobility. They are able to get all over town, and especially with those roads blocked up, they don't need cars, they've got their boards. They're able to move all over town to help people, right? He has that mobilized, right? Those kids knew, shit's going down, get your fucking board, right? And that's not coincidence, that's not chance, that's organization. That's organization within the community. so that when some bad shit goes down, we know how to get these families to safety quick. We know what our rendezvous point is, that fucking church. It wasn't like, oh, where should we go? The church is where we go. We already knew this. We already had plans for this in case something bad happened. And it's happening now, and everything is working so seamlessly. They were able to get all those families out before Lockjaw's bitch ass got there, right? And so I just thought that was so beautiful to see, and I just thought it was so inspiring. I was so inspired by Sensei. I so saw his action, and I wanted to be him, and I want to right now. That's why I'm making this fucking video, because I don't want for just a handful of people to watch this film and pull Sensei from it. I want everybody to watch this film and pull Sensei from it and go, oh, Sensei, yeah, that's who we want to be. I keep calling him Sensei because I don't remember his name. It was Sergio St. Carlos. That is Sensei. But I'm just going to keep calling him Sensei for this. That's just the heart of the film for me. That was the most important part of the film, is seeing Sensei in his element, seeing Sensei really rally the community. And I think his phone is important of that, right? People are calling him. He's calling people. He has everyone's number, right? When Pat gets caught by the cops, the skateboarders know to call him. Here's what happened. I still have your gun. He got caught. Great, right? Everyone, they all know exactly what to do when things go wrong. This is the beauty of planning, okay? If anyone knows me, they know I love planning, okay? So, and then this made me want to fucking cry, this part, where Pat is getting intook, and they cannot find out Pat's name when he's getting intook, because then they'll know to take him straight to Lockjaw. So he gives a fake name, and when he's being intook at the sheriff's office, whatever that is, that's not jail, but the police station. At the police station, the lady intaking him is like saying the fake name he gave, like, I don't remember what it was, like Ray. Let's say it's Ray, because I don't remember. He's like, hey, Ray, Bob. And then okay, now he's paying attention. And then she makes up that he needs his insulin, right? And she's like, you didn't take your insulin today, right? And then Pat follows, okay, no, I didn't. And so they're able to get him to the medical ward, where the nurse, who is also in contact with Sergio clearly, tells him exactly what you're going to go out that door. Takes out off the handcuffs, he goes out that door, and guess who's waiting for him? Sensei, right? The way that was orchestrated was so beautiful. And the way that Leonardo DiCaprio's Pat/Bob is not, he's our main character, but he's not a hero in this. He doesn't save Willa. He doesn't break out of prison. He doesn't do any giant heroic acts. Sensei does. And Sensei does through the power of community. Every person that Bob touches along the way to get to where he's going, they're the ones that save Willa, essentially. Each with their small action, right? And so you see it in the film, you could see it all come together. But you can do that. You can do that. You working at prison intake can do that. All she had to do was, you didn't take your insulin, right? Okay, yeah, we need to get him over to the hospital. Yup, right? That seems like such a small thing, but then when we see it in the context of the film, we know that it's huge. And that's beautiful. That's so beautiful, and I wish that's what the discourse was about. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to hear from y'all. That's what I want to hear on TikTok. I don't want to hear Perfidia is having too much sex. I don't want to hear that. I don't care. I want to hear, oh my gosh, this film inspired me to take more community action. And we talk about community action, right? Anyone that is in these types of spaces, online even, on TikTok even, you hear them talking about it, on YouTube, about how the revolution starts with community action. We say it, but a lot of people don't do it. And I get it. But I think the main point of this film is for you to examine for yourself, how are you like Sensei? And how can you be more like Sensei, right? And that's what it did for me. That's what I wanted to do for you. That's what I hope it already did for you. But if not, that's why I'm making this fucking video. And that's what film is, right? It's supposed to inspire. And I think Paul Thomas Anderson kind of did the damn thing with that. I was really impressed. I love Sensei's character so much. And if you know me, you know that Benicio del Toro is my like ultimate celebrity crush forever, and he always will be. And so maybe that's part of why I paid so much more attention to his character than other people did, maybe. But that allowed me to notice this. But I also, hold on, I don't think that this through line is like obscure or hidden. I'm not saying that either. Like, this is kind of the point of the film, guys. This is the main heart of the film. I just think we should be talking about that more. I want to hear more about this beautiful heart of the film. I just think the discourse is so busy being upset and being angry that we're missing this really positive messaging in the film, and it's messaging that we claim to want. So let's be happy. I think it was really well done. It's not even like I like they throwing me a little bone and I'm like, yay. Like, I think this is a full meal. I think it's a full meal that I'm saying yay to. So I do think One Battle After Another is probably Paul Thomas Anderson's best work since Boogie Nights. And that's like such a very personal thing. Like, obviously, like, oh, I thought blah blah was his best. Whatever, that's fine. Me personally, I thought Boogie Nights is one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best. I haven't seen it in a very long time because I don't like watching things with that man in it, the main actor in that film. So I haven't seen it in a while because of that. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But I do remember just think he was phenomenal. Since that, I've seen a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's works, and I've just felt a lot of it wasn't totally for me. And I feel that about a lot of these like really major white male directors. I think for a lot of them, they have a very white male perspective, which there's nothing wrong with. But I'm just not super into that, you know? So I don't get super into their works a lot. But One Battle After Another I thought was really well done. And I was surprised, again, because of all this discourse. I'm expecting to go into it and have this white boy fumble real bad, but no, this was a phenomenal film. And it's not without problems, but I don't think those problems are big enough to warrant the temper tantrums people are having on the interwebs. So one of the criticisms I'm seeing is that this plays with the aesthetics of revolution without actually getting into revolutionary politics and stuff like that. I don't agree with that, and I think it's funny because I think it's selective outrage. Because I didn't see this criticism for like the Barbie movie, for example. That was the most surface level feminism, like not even 101, like pre-intro to feminism of corporate okayed messaging about feminism ever. And everyone was like, no, that shit was deep. But that's because y'all love Greta Gerwig. And then we get to this film, you're like, oh my, yeah, there's playing with the aesthetics of revolution. What does that even mean, first of all? Because you would never watch a spy movie and say, it's just using the aesthetics of espionage without getting into it. Like, yeah, film's a visual medium. It's gonna get into the aesthetics of anything it does. You know, you don't watch Sinners and go, that just gets into the aesthetics of vampirism. It doesn't. Yeah, it is. It's the aesthetics of music transcending generations. Yeah, it is the aesthetics of music. Like, do you know what I'm saying? My point is that criticism, it just doesn't hold any weight to me. I don't think that's an important thing. And I almost saw where they were going with the film's first act. That first act does feel a little surface level. A lot of surface level. If the first act was the whole film, I would really get that criticism, but it's not. I just went on my whole rant about Sensei. If Sensei's character wasn't there, then yeah, it might have some issues, but I think Sensei's character rounds it all out beautifully so that criticism just, to me, doesn't really hold weight anymore. Then, of course, we have the issue with Perfidia and Junglepussy. I didn't see an issue. I really didn't. And I think if this came out 10, 20 years ago, I would see the issue. But I think that we've come a long way in terms of representation where I don't see a character like Perfidia and feel negatively or feel like that's all Black women are seen to be in media. Not anymore. I think we are at a point where we do have a wider range, and there still needs to be improvement, of course, but I think we're at a point where I think a character like Perfidia and Junglepussy are okay. I felt really okay with their portrayal, and I didn't feel like, yeah, she's a bad person, but I didn't feel that watching this film at any point that the film was against her. The film is very much against Lockjaw. The film portrays, and Sean Penn did the damn thing. Like, damn, I felt so uncomfortable watching that, man. I was like, ugh. Lockjaw is so clearly shown to be depraved and disgusting and a fetishist and nasty and a rapist. The film does not show Lockjaw in a positive manner at all. I feel it does show Perfidia. And like, we get that she's not a great person, we get that she's a rat, but also we're watching that whole beginning a lot from her perspective. She's having a hard time. And so I think maybe it's like a little hypersensitivity or like PTSD from films not considering us as whole people, but this film, I feel, does show Perfidia as a whole person. I loved her character and I really felt for her. I really, really felt for her in that beginning of the film. Another criticism I saw is that, okay, well, like, you can show that, but you have, like, they didn't flesh out Perfidia or Junglepussy's characters at all. No, they didn't. And I feel like that's just kind of like a misunderstanding of filmmaking. This is a plot-driven film. That's why the pacing is so insane. This is a plot-driven film. We don't get to know any of these characters on a super deep level, right? Because it's not character forward. This is such a plot-forward film. And I think it works perfectly, right? You're like, oh, we don't know her past, we don't know her reasons for doing it. We know what we need to know to get through this film. And that's how all film happens, right? So we know things like she comes from a long line of revolutionaries. That's big. That's important to her backstory, right? But we don't know how she grew up. We don't know, but like, let's compare it to the main character of Pat/Bob. We don't know how he grew up either. So like, what's the, like, you're like mad that she's not the main character? Because like, we didn't get that backstory for Pat either. I mean, the most backstory for anyone we have is who is the real main character of the film, the daughter, right? Getting to know Pat and Perfidia is us getting to know that girl's origin story. Willa/Charlene. We are only knowing them so that we can see who Willa/Charlene, what she's come from, who she is, and then at the end of the movie, who she will be. So, like, demanding that, like, oh, we needed to flesh out her character more. It was a 3-hour movie, and there were a lot of characters, and it's plot-driven. Like, who I am saying is my favorite and most important character thematically, like, Benicio was in that movie for, like, 10 fucking minutes, you know? Like, and you're like, oh, and yeah, that was another thing. Everyone's mad that Perfidia was in the film for long enough. She's only there for the first act. Yeah. That's how this film is structured. Again, my most important character is there for 10 minutes. Like, she was there for the first 30 to 40 minutes, I think, of the film. And then it's a longer film. But I just didn't find that to be an issue. And I think part of it is me coming from the industry and writing my own stuff and I guess having that working of structuring and stuff like that for story. And I don't say this to be like, oh, well, I know better. But like, but I didn't see an issue. I didn't see a whole issue. I think my biggest issue, and this isn't a big issue at all, I think, with this whole Perfidia thing, is that like super cringe sequence in the beginning with Pat and Perfidia, where she's like, you like black girls? And he's like, I love black girls. I was like, ugh.
I love them.
But again, I won't even put that as a knock really against the movie, because that's not unrealistic. There are people that talk like that. It is a very like racial insecurity type thing. The black girls who feel the need to check, oh, do you like black girls? And I'm not even shitting on black girls for that, because we have been taught since childhood that we are the most undesirable and no one should desire us, blah, blah, blah. So I get that insecurity and wanting to verbally check. It's just a little cringe. Going forward, we just have to assume everybody likes black girls, because they should. If they don't, we shouldn't even be talking to them, okay? I know it's easier said than done, but yeah, so I was coming off a little insecure. And then what else? What other criticisms did I see? Oh, like poising her sexual assault is empowering. Again, I didn't read it that way. I read it as she's just not the type of person to break down and cry about it. And I saw it as her being so dedicated to the revolution that if she's being blackmailed, then she has to fuck this nasty man in order to change the world and for their group, the French 75, to continue doing the good that they're doing. and not commenting on whether or not you think it's good or not, but clearly the character believes it is so good. So if she has to make that sacrifice for the revolution, then of fucking course she's gonna do it. And so that's how I saw that. She had to. And that's how she felt. She had to. And then we learned later in the film he did the same fucking thing in Junglepussy. These women are having to put themselves in compromising positions for the revolution, and they feel that that's necessary. And Heike, I mean, me personally, I don't disagree. I kind of see it as like, yeah, like, we're trying to save lives here. It sucks. As an enormous act of bravery on Perfidia's part, and then learning later that Junglepussy had to do it too, enormous bravery on their part. And more like, oh, for Lockjaw, disgusting, hate him, gross. But yeah, so those are my responses to some of those critiques. And again, I'm not saying that these critiques are totally unfounded. I'm not saying that these critiques are without merit entirely. I just don't think they're as big a deal. The Junglepussy situation, I don't have a lot to say about, because that one I don't know what to say. That one I think is a little bit more complex. It's like, yeah, the name is Junglepussy. I don't like that. But also it is an actual rapper's name. It is that rapper's actual name. And I am really happy for Junglepussy as an independent artist to get this opportunity to say her name loud in a major film that cost $1 bajillion with fucking huge stars in it like Tiana Taylor and Regina Hall and Leonardo DiCaprio, and just to be able to say her name in the film. Now everybody knows about Junglepussy. I'm sure so many people checked out her music, so I'm stoked for her. The character, I don't know. It's a bit of a toss-up for me, but I think a big thing about Perfidia and Junglepussy that fixes it for me is that they are not the only two black women in the film. There is one black woman in the film who is she's definitely given a bigger role than Junglepussy, and maybe in terms of runtime, I don't know if it's an equal role or like a little bit less than Perfidia. Name I can't remember, so that's not good, sorry, but Regina Hall. Just because whenever I see it, I go, Regina Hall, yay! I'm just calling her by her name in my head. Regina Hall's character was fantastic. So sympathetic, so wonderfully done. And I think she brings a groundedness to the Front 75 movement, because I think it's easy to look at like Perfidia and Junglepussy and Ghetto Pat and see them and go, okay, they're low much, right? Or even see that maybe Paul Thomas Anderson is trying to paint these huge, like bigger revolutionary acts as something crazy. Don't do that, like that type of thing. Propaganda against it. And I think Regina Hall's character grounds that movement a lot more. Like, yes, there are some actors within this group that are reckless. That's gonna happen, right? Life's light. I mean, to do these types of huge revolutionary acts, I think it is going to attract a bit more of a reckless type of revolutionary. Sometimes, not always. And that's what that shows. Yeah. Perfidia is a little bit more of a loose cannon. She did not intend to kill that man. I think she really just emotionally was just dealing with too much, and it came out at him. So if you got that, Regina Hall would never do that. Regina Hall is more level-headed, calm, especially when things blow up and everyone has to disperse. She was right there helping Pat get that baby the fuck out of there, right? So I loved Regina Hall's character. I thought she was very important representation. And I think she balanced out the representation of black women that we got in this film. And then, of course, there's Charlene/Willa, who I haven't spoken about yet because it's a little different for her because she's mixed. She's our mixed child of this. Loved her character. She was given, I think, again, it's one of those things, if this movie came out 20 years ago, she would have just been a captive until her daddy saved her. But she did the damn thing, okay? She was trained very well, and it was nice to see her put all that into action and remember her code words and all of that. That was good. I really liked Charlene/Willa. I was really rooting for her. And then once there was that scene where Lockjaw and her are looking face to face at each other before he takes the paternity test, I was like, that's this kid. Fuck yeah, she does look way more like Sean Penn than Leonardo DiCaprio. Shit. And that sucks. Like, what an awful thing to learn. Of course you want, Pat/Bob to be your dad, not this fucking gross ass. My mom, fuck you, what a roller coaster. I really loved One Battle After Another, and I highly recommend it. I just think you have to be able to watch it with a critical lens. And if you're able to do that, it's good. And I think maybe that's also, I think, part of why people's criticisms aren't totally unfounded, because not everyone is watching it with like context and understanding of the world that we live in, who made it, stuff like that. They're just watching and just consuming. But I think we need to find a middle ground here. On one hand, yeah, like people are just watching, consuming, and not thinking. But we cannot be like, so filmmakers, you need to do a Netflix style and tell everyone what the lesson is at the end of the film. And like you say you want complex media that doesn't spoon feed you, but then when it doesn't spoon feed you, like, oh, this is bad. It's saying bad, telling us to do bad things. And then you get a Netflix movie that's telling you the plot 14 times verbally, pausing the film, looking you in the camera and saying, so now Bob is mad at Sally. And and you don't like that. So what do you want? I don't think you know what you want. What's a perfect movie in your opinion? And I'm asking you, angry TikTokers right now, what's a perfect movie? And I'm also not saying this to silence the discourse. Talking about films is good. We should talk about it. We should debate. We should, unpack these things. It's good. I just wish we'd put it in context and get less angry at each other. There's so much anger at other people. You see it in the comments of these TikToks. This isn't a huge deal, guys. It's a movie. I think two things can be true at once. That, yeah, movies are art and are hugely important in affecting how we see the world and how we interact with people, things like that. But I can also go, this is just a movie. And though it has the power to influence, the people who have to make action, that have to get up and do things, that's us, right? So let's get up and do things. Let's not just argue about what a movie means, but get up and make our communities better. Get up and become senseis in our own lives, right? And that was my takeaway from the film. I watched this film and desperately wanted to be sensei. Wanted to think about ways that I can be sensei. And I hope that that is the lesson that a lot more people can take away from that film, because that's so important, right? And we see at the end of the film that Willa is doing that. She is finding this beautiful middle ground between what her parents were doing and what Sensei does. She's getting involved in protests. She's got her little, her technology, her little radio waves thing that's obviously taught to her by her dad and by, his friends. And she's going out there and she's getting involved and she's helping. And I love that. She's being a part of the community.
Be careful.
I won't.
I don't know. Let's think about that part. We can have discourse too, but let's think about that positive end to the film and make tangible goals for ourselves to do more stuff like that. Let's resolve to do more stuff like that. Let me know in the comments what you thought about One Battle After Another. Let me know what you all thought about Benicio del Toro's character Sensei. Let me know all about how you're feeling about this film. And yeah, let's chat down there. Bye!